Hi everyone, let's talk about AEW Dynamite, January 29th, 2025. I thought this show was a very fun show this week. A very fun show. Let's talk about it, guys. The show opens right into action, and Brian Cage faces Will Ospreay, which was a fun match with Brian Cage and Will Ospreay. Let's talk about it. Don Callis cuts a quick promo before the action and showing Kenny Omega lays out backstage and laughing, and Brian Cage takes advantage by putting boot to Will Ospreay off the ropes, and Brian Cage blocks the era whips to the corner, and Will Ospreay with the boots up, diving in the era connects this time and plancha, but Brian Cage sidesteps and fights trains Will Ospreay onto the floor, and Will Ospreay shoves him into the post. Right hand pop up onto the barricade, diving, but Brian Cage catches him into a delay versatile, marching him halfway around the ring before completely the suplex, and the ref distracts Don Callis and gets a few chomp shots in, and Brian Cage bounces Will Ospreay face off the desk and suplexes him into the apron before going over and hugging Don Callis back into the ring. Brian Cage rams him into the turnbuckle and following it up with a reverse chinlock and a cruise Cruz Red Dora cover for two, and Mountain punches Brian Cage, puts him in the bear hug, and Harley Barrett and Will Ospreay fires. I'll say it again. Will Ospreay fights. I say fire, but Will Ospreay fights out with punches, and Brian Cage chops him into rope and whips across handspring kicks and gets Will Ospreay a fighting chance, and mounting a comeback and springboard arrow cuts Brian Cage down to size, but it's only good for two. And then jawing, jaw, jawing at Lance Archer at ringside, and Brian Cage hits the death lift suplex so close and fighting over a Frankensteiner, and Will Ospreay flips free, super kick and a second kick and looking for the Ospreay cutter, but Brian Cage cuts him down with a lariat and hits a Revolution ladder bomb, only for a near fall back to the apron, up into the turnbuckle and the avalanche F5, but Will Ospreay gets a foot on the rope, and I'll say again, Lance Archer tries to slip his feet off the rope, but it's too late, and the ref tells him off, and Brian Cage puts out the misery. I'll say again, imagery, cutter. I'll say again, imagery Kelsner on Will Ospreay back, but he counters, and Brian Cage knocks Lance Archer off the apron, and Will Ospreay gets him up, and Will Ospreay wins with the Styles Clash, and that's how Will Ospreay won by the pinfall by doing the Styles Clash on Brian Cage, and that's what happened right there. Then the post match, Lance Archer and Brian Cage light on Will Ospreay and beat him down, and Kenny Omega makes the save in chairs, and I'll say it again, Kenny Omega makes the save and chair in hand. And that's what happened right there, guys. And swatting Lance Archer and Brian Cage away. He checks on Will Ospreay, but Kyle Fletcher and Tutesta show up, and the damn numbers game wins out as it always does. And simply a tombstone pile driver from Kyle Fletcher and Tutesta, and the Don Callis family stand tall, which was amazing. And like I said again, guys, Will Ospreay and Brian Cage, which are freaking great match to open this show. My goodness, that was a great match to open this show. Then the commentary hypes up the rest of tonight's show, and backstage, Renee Paquette is waiting outside of Swerve Strickland's door when Adam Page rolls up, opening doors. And I was thinking, guys, Adam Page rolls up, opening doors. Like I said again, I said right, guys. And she asks for a comment and refuses. He runs into MJF and runs off, leaving MJF to complain to Renee Paquette. And he ignores her at first and blames the ads before saying tonight he's going to prove his words aren't just beautiful prince or persistently. And tonight, Jeff Jarrett is going to have to fight half half man, half horse Claudio Castagnoli, and he's going to have a new offer for Jeff Jarrett. It's going to be his last fight as we go to the break. Yes, guys, I was thinking about my spaces. I talked about this on Twitter on Spaces. I did that this past week as well, and I was thinking about that I did this already on here on YouTube. I had to stop myself for a second. Then then, back from the commercial, Will Hobbs cuts a promo and he says he wasn't cleared to travel to AEW Dynamite tonight, but but when, when he's clear, he's going to show Big Bill that hell is going. I'll say it again, guys. He says he wasn't cleared to travel to AEW to AE. I'll say it again. He says he wasn't cleared to travel to AEW Dynamite tonight, but when he's clear, he's going to show Big Bill that hell is just the beginning. Man, I'm telling you guys, when we do that collision review, Big Bill and freaking Will Hobbs, great freaking. I don't care about you haters, I really don't. And Claudio Castagnoli sent to Jeff Jarrett, which was a decent match because of the freaking decision. If it wasn't for this decision and Jeff Jarrett won, I would have been like this. I would have been like this. Jeff Jarrett defeated Claudio Castagnoli, and he gets the AEW World title shot. And faces jump. But thank goodness that didn't happen. But anyways, guys, let's talk about it. Claudio Castagnoli defeated Jeff Jarrett, like I said, guys. And let's talk about the match. Claudio Castagnoli faced Jeff Jarrett, and Claudio Castagnoli in control early, taking Jeff Jarrett down with a lariat and a neutralizer counter, and Jeff Jarrett rolls through and assistly the figure four leg lock, and Wheeler Yuta comes to ringside, and Jeff Jarrett ends up going after him as we go to break. And back from the commercial break, we also again, Weeps refers Claudio Castagnoli, charges in with an uppercut for two, and Double J, Jeff Jarrett with a side Russian leg sweep and getting fired up, and Claudio Castagnoli firing up uppercut. Also again, Claudio Castagnoli firing uppercuts to cut him off, but Jeff Jarrett returns fire and hangs in there, and figure four decides this time, and Jeff Jarrett sidesteps the charge and kicks away at Claudio Castagnoli's knee, and Claudio Castagnoli catches a boot and ducks the Izanari. Giant swing ensues, and Claudio Castagnoli knees comes up and lanes, but he shakes it off and puts Jeff Jarrett into the sharpshooter, and Wheeler Yuta slides a chair into the ring and runs interference, and Jeff Jarrett ducks him and ducks the chair and looking for the choke, but John Moxley runs in and spikes him with the paradigm shift. I'll say it again, guys. John Moxley runs in and spikes him with the paradigm shift, and a neutralizer. Claudio Castagnoli isn't done with him yet and hooks him for a second, and Claudio Castagnoli wins with the neutralizer, and that's how Claudio Castagnoli won with the neutralizer and defeated Jeff Jarrett. And I'm so freaking happy that Claudio Castagnoli defeated Jeff Jarrett, and thank you for the decision, Tony, because if you would have freaking had Jeff Jarrett win, I would have went on a freaking huge ass rant and went like this after the rant. So there you go. Then post match, as Jeff Jarrett recovers, MJF comes to the ring, and MJF begins to speak. Then immediately clocks Jeff Jarrett with a low punch. Oh my god! Oh my god, man! I love when MJF did that, man. I love when MJF did that. He was like, I got something to say to you, and then freaking clocks him one. Oh man, that was funny. That was funny. He was like, he said, "Oh, I got something to say to you," and then freaking clobbers him. Then he clobbers him. Oh man, I should watch that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It was so freaking great, man. That was so freaking great from the MDF to clock him from behind, to clock Jeff Jarrett from behind, man. Then he says he respects elders, and that's why he's not going to say he told him so. He dropped the mic on Jeff Jarrett and a sizzling body and walks away as we go to the break. Then back from the commercial, Renee Paquette interviews Ricochet and glad that Swerve Strickland is prohibited from interfering tonight under pain of losing his match next week, but he's going to save further commentary for a sit down on Saturday. Right now, he's going to take care of the situation, and we had AR Fox versus Ricochet, which was a decent match, guys. A decent match, in my opinion. A decent match, guys. A decent match. Let's talk about it, guys. A decent match, guys. So circling Ricochet gets him into the corner and breaks Dirty with a shove. And AR Fox ducks underside headlock and shoots off and shoulder block and ducks a lariat headlock takeover and reverses it into a pin. But AR Fox hangs in there and ricochets to the floor and AR Fox dives on him and he fires up and also again, throwing Rick into the barricade and following with a big boot right inside, and Ricochet hop tosses him into the barricade and faking out a dive, taunting the crowd as we go to the break. And back from the commercial break, Ricochet with a near fall and gets a spinebuster off the ropes, and people moonsault so close. And AR Fox trying to move a comeback in the Incendiary, and a fireman buster still no and pulling him up into a nifty ace crusher for once again a ace crusher personally off the top, and Ricochet kicks out of the 450 splash and sliding lariat and first face lock, and Ricochet wins with the Fergo, and that's how Ricochet won by pinfall with the Fergo, and that's how Ricochet won with the Fergo and defeated AR Fox, guys. Then the post match, Swerve Strickland rushes down to beat the hell out of Ricochet the very first moment he I'll say it again. The post match, Swerve Strickland rushes down to beat the living hell of Ricochet the very first moment he allowed to, throwing him into the steel steps and then back inside, but Ricochet runs away, reaching the scissors for a standoff, and that's what happened right there, guys. A lot of people said it was too scary. It's too scary. I don't know that, but to me it was pretty cool. I liked it. Then we get a clip of a Renee Paquette YouTube video with Death Riders where John Moxley explains why they're hiding the title belt in the briefcase as we go to the break. Then back from the break, we get Chris Jericho gets his New York minute. Also again gets his New York minute in, which I really don't care about it. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, hi guys. He promotes his new movie Dark Match, and Big Bill says he feels like he understands Chris Jericho's words in a way he never has before, and he feels stronger. And Chris Jericho says that makes him proud of himself and tells him to work harder next time. And Chris Jericho questions the veracity of the Outrunners gimmick, and Brian Keith shouts out the Masuk effect by way of an an explanation, guys. Then we had Jay White versus Wheeler Yuta, which was a decent match, guys. Wheeler Yuta versus Jay White, which was a decent match. Loved it, guys. Loved this freaking match. It was a decent match. Loved it. Let's talk about it. Struggling into the corner, Jay White fights out with a chop and twist lock from Wheeler Yuta and rolls through and counters with a chop and more chops back. Roddy drop action to the floor, more chops, and Wheeler Yuta cuts him off with a basement dropkick and smashing his ankle into the steps, then perhaps his feet up on the frame of the ring before stomping the knee and throwing him back inside, and another ankle stomp, and Princeton's working a spinning toe hold back to the floor and remains in control as we go to the break. And back to the break, Jay White throwing chomps, and Wheeler Yuta kicks his legs out as Wheeler Yuta kicks his legs out as his legs up top and jockeying for precision, and Jay White knocks him down with elbows and back onto the mat and hits a dragon screw, then sends Wheeler Yuta crashing into the corner, and suplex lifts up into the corner up top, and two plexus connects. Nope. Then Jay White with jump and chop into the corner, looking for the rock bottom, and Wheeler Yuta fights back and essentially counters with an arm jack and ducks under Trump block into a half crab, and Jay White gets the rope, and Wheeler Yuta does as a half to five referee, have a 2 to 5, one, two, three, four, you have to get to five. And if you don't break that five, it's a disqualification, and all that stuff. Then onto the break, leg kick cover for two, and arm drag sets up the rock bottom, and Wheeler Yuta with another pin predicament. I'll say again, another pinning predicament, and a German suplex covers for two off the top, and nobody's home, rolls through, and Wheeler Yuta with a back elbow. Then Jay White counters the knee, and Jay White wins with the Blade Runner, and that's how the freaking Jay White defeated Wheeler Yuta with the Blade Runner. And guys, like I said again, guys, the Sling Blade Jay White defeated Wheeler Yuta by doing that. I'll say it again, guys. That's how the Sling Blade Jay White defeated Wheeler Yuta with the Blade Runner, and that's how he won with the Blade Runner, guys. And that was a fun match. Then the post match, he hits another Blade Runner for a good measure up for a third. But here comes Jon Moxley and Maria Shafir, and Jon Moxley up the apron. I'll say again, Jon Moxley's up the apron, and Claudio Castagnoli attacks him from behind, and the Death Riders put boot to Jay White to rated FTR. I was thinking rated FTR makes the save, and the heels back up, and Dex Hardwood gets on the mic, and he said he has a problem when Death Riders tried to end Ricky Morton's life, and Dennis Cole, I was thinking Dennis Con Dry off the Midnight Express is here, the rock and roll experience, the rock and roll experience, and the Midnight Experience is here, and Dennis Conza name, and he wants FTR versus Death Riders in a Mid-South street fight on Collision, which we'll see tonight, guys. We'll see tonight the Midnight South street fight, which I can't wait for that, guys. And then we get a recap of Maria. I'll say again, we get a recap of Maria. I'll say it again, guys. I'll repeat it again because I make mistakes a lot. We get a recap of the Mariah. I'll say again, we get a recap of Mariah May and Tony Storm's situation, and Renee Paquette is on the stage to interview Mariah May, and Mariah May says it's great to be in Huntsville, but perhaps she should change the first letter to a C so it could be Conville. You see, Conca and all that stuff, and she tells about how Tony Storm isn't real, and she says if she wants to play the whole of Tony Storm, she should play the Tony who gives her heart to a woman who used her for gold, or the Tony Storm whom the most memorable moment was bleeding and crying in her hands, or the Tony Storm who walked out of Wembley Stadium in Japan and Mexico because she couldn't touch her and play whatever. And Tony Storm, you like the ending standing the same. She doesn't need to be, again, she doesn't need to role play because when you're this good, you do not change a thing. And she's the woman from hell, and she always will be, and she will remind Tony Storm for the rest of her life. And that's what happened right there, guys, which was really good. Really freaking good stuff with Mariah May and Tony Storm being right there. Really good stuff with Mariah May. I love Mariah May. She's really good, and she's a fun AEW Women's Champion, in my opinion. Then we get a comeback vignette for the Guns. You know what I'm saying? The Guns, the Ass Boys. You know what I'm saying? The Ass Boys. The Gun Club, the Ass Boys. Then a recap of the Undefeated Kingdom doing follow, and then Hart Syndicate gets a video package celebrating their tag title win as we go to break. And then back from the commercial, we get a recap of an opening match because the show doesn't have enough silver on it, I guess, and all that, which they said. That's what they said. Indeed, we get a recap of Claudio Castagnoli versus Jeff Jarrett. Then we get Kyle Falkery and Deanna Provers get a promo backstage calling Harley Cameron out for sticking her boobs. Sticking her boobs. Guys. Kyle Falkery and Deanna Purrazzo cut a promo backstage calling Harley Cameron out for sticking her boobs where she didn't belong and needs to take what they deserve and whatnot. Then we had the main event. Guys. Mercedes Monet versus Yuka Nakasaki for the TBS title, guys. I'm telling you guys, good stuff, man. Good match. I'm telling you. Yuka Yuka Nakasaki versus Mercedes Monet was a good freaking match, guys. Good freaking match. I'm telling you. Mercedes Monet versus Yuka Nakasaki for the AW TBS Championship. Good freaking match. We already knew Mercedes Monet was going to retain. Me and Red Lightning Boa, we thought that was already going to happen. Me and Red Lightning Boa knew that was going to happen. Sorry, guys, I have to drink because freaking makes me just, oh man, I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you guys. I had to drink, man, more often. I'm telling you. I'm just take a little break right here, guys, for a second. So, Yuka Nakasaki working a ankle lock, and Mercedes Monet reverses to a hammerlock off the rope, and Yuka Nakasaki clocks her with a lariat and jumps over a heel strip. I was thinking a heel strip and trading snap bars hanging up on the rope and rolling Jundu butt into a sunset flip only for two, and sliding lariat counter into a crucifix for two, and a excuse me, an arm drag sent Yuka Nakasaki to the floor, and she spins Mercedes Monet around and caught, again, and caught a snook at her and stalking for position. And Mercedes Monet hits a Manora to the floor as we go to break. Then back for the break. Test of strength. Yuka Nakasaki fights out right hand, and Mercedes Monet goes for a powerbomb, but Yuka Nakasaki reverses into a Frankensteiner, and she stays, and she sidesteps the Maraza springboard onto a missile dropkick and a shirt drop, brainbuster shield note, and sliding lariat for another near fall, and Mercedes Monet turns it around and near fall of her own and walking all over Yuka Nakasaki, and then Mercedes Monet is up top, and Yuka Nakasaki cuts her off and stalking for precision and superplex connects, and Monet make a counter and super kick sends the champ into the rope and again into the rope and twist lets Mary go round. Again, Mary go round, and Mercedes kicks out and head scissors puts Yuka Nakasaki into the turnbuckles, and big statement reverses into a pin for a near fall. Then rolling elbow from the challenger Yuka Nakasaki, rolling to a set sit belt pin cover for two, and a magical girl splash the knee for the magical girl splash the knee are up, and front kick from Mercedes Monet, powerbomb follows Soneri special. I'm sorry about that, guys. But but yes, So, like I said again, guys, I'll repeat it again. So, rolling elbow from the challenger, rolling into a steel belt pin and covered for two, and a magical dual splash. The knees are up and front kick from Mercedes Moné, powerbomb followed and glory special, and then Mercedes Moné won by pinfall with the Monet Maker and retained the AEW TBS Championship with the Monet Maker, and that's how she won with the Monet Maker, guys. And I give this show a freaking 9 out of 10. It was a great freaking show this week with AEW Dynamite. I gave it a 9 out of 10, guys. A 9 out of 10. And that's how to say, guys. And I gave this Dynamite a 9 out of 10. This is Christopher Jackson Denver. Again, this is Christopher Jackson Denver. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bells as always, guys. And we're out. Peace out and take care. Peace out.